I'll say this for us. We look great.
Oh, baby, do we? Mike Dixon hooking it up. The official teaching pro.
And more accolades came for him. I saw a master teacher now. I mean, of course. He's as good as it gets. And he has us looking spectacular in the Muirfield greens and the Masters quarter zips.
Although I, unfortunately, from a long stint on the hanger, I've got a hanger.
Hang a Masters quarter
zip. A hanger bump.
This is the steadfast rule on quarter zip hangers. If there's a polyester, a primarily polyester blend
sure.
hanger.
Yep.
Anything else,
no.
Fold.
So I like to have what I think the problem was. It originally was on a hanger that was not the right. Now that I got a hanger that goes into the shoulder.
There you go. The big,
thick guy.
girthy.
But I'm still working it. I'm patting it down. I'm making progress on it. This side we're already good. This side.
Yeah, you're good. You're getting there.
We're getting there.
How about the evidence yesterday that came forward about the electrocution, the attempted electrocution of you? All sorts of. I saw this morning. Apparently, an active night on social.
It was very active.
I missed it. I saw it this morning though, and I saw all sorts of accusations. My head needing to be on a swivel. The attempted electrocution of you was something that was premeditated very clearly. And then late in the evening, there was a gif of a brushing of an elbow, but that still, to me, does not preclude that there was some sort of attempted.
That was way after. That's when I was leaning over to talk to your mic when my mic was already. That's when the cord
happened.
Severed. Yeah, that's when the cord fully severed. That was well after.
The pieces are just.
But what was clear
layering.
Is that somebody came in here. They depressed this thing.
Because there's no other way for it to happen.
Then they loosened it and let it sit there so that as it went on, it could get even looser. And then now I've reattached it. But and then the surge through. It was like
surge came through. It was an attempt on your life. I don't think that's. I don't think I'm.
My kids this morning, as I took them to school, and I was singing. I was just so full of energy. They said, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I was electrocuted at work yesterday."
That's right.
And I think that now I just have extra energy, and I'm a person who already has energy.
You're boundless.
I thrive on enthusiasm. I am optimistic about the world, always ready to go. And now it's that plus. It's like my energy level now is to me as his cage rattling energy is to give.
Always at 100.
That's right. Always at 100.
Always at 100. Was it the Limitless, the Bradley Cooper movie?
Right.
That's where you're at right now.
Yeah. I feel like it.
Bounding.
I was able to predict that Tiger would lip out on 5 for birdie, but then come back with a birdie at 6. Then it happened. And
where is he now?
He's at 1 under in the fairway, I believe, on 8.
Now even is what I'm seeing.
What do you mean? Now even. He's walking down the fairway right now. He parred 7.
But you're watching that on the pad. You're talking about a behind.
Hold on. Nope. Highlight.
Gibby. God.
I mean, give me a dude.
Highlight.
Gibby. Come on. You've attempted. The Ibs boys are the prime suspects.
I won't even
crew,
comment on the stupidity of your accusations.
Gibby, you did this, which everyone can hear. You did this to jump in and give us the score, and then you're watching a highlight.
And it was erroneous.
Of the score, Gibby.
I'm watching
it
live.
I just flipped. I had to change channels.
Oh my gosh!
When
By
I'm
the
golfing
way,
sometimes with the kid and Simze, Agent to the Stars.
The sandbagger?
No, kids, he is not. I wish it were true that he were a sandbagger. He wishes he was a sandbagger. He's not a sandbagger.
My evidence
at all. I will
defend.
I
feel like he shot like 66.
I'll defend the integrity of his handicap until the day I die. Trust me. He and I have been partners way too many times where it hasn't worked out for us for him to be a sandbagger.
All right.
Now, he has whooped me plenty of times, too, where I'd be like, now, on those days, sandbagger. But it evens out. He's a very good man and honest man.
Very thorough.
But right now, we're off to an awful start, quite frankly, for Gibby on the show today. So if this was on the golf course, Sims would go, not your best. That's what he'd say when somebody hits a bad shot and they're like cussing.
Not your best.
Not your best.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Simsy, Agent to the Stars, not one for much of a temper, except a little bit on the golf course.
On the golf course, it
starts to ratchet up a little bit. Yeah, there's a little bit of intensity, I noticed.
Because it is an intense, and he has an intense move, and when he hits it, he wallops the ball.
He hits the hell out of it.
He hits it
sure
a country mile.
He really does.
Yeah.
Are you aware that today is not only the start of the 86th Masters, which you and I are dressed accordingly, Gibby in his as well.
Yes.
But also the opening day for Major League Baseball. Both in the same day.
And?
Well, what I was curious about was, I think we can all agree, and maybe we won't. I'll see what you think about this. These are two sports where the apex is in the rearview mirror of their popularity. That neither one will be as popular as they once were. Now, it just so happens that it's my belief baseball's apex was probably in the 50s and 60s, and that was baseball's run the world, America's pastime. Golf's peak, from a popularity standpoint, was the apex of Tiger, and we're kind of coming out of that a little bit. And there's no duplication of Tiger. You'll never see that again with all of the factors that went into him. While you could argue that there is still room for football, it's hard to wrap your head around, for football to continue to get more and more popular and bigger and bigger and bigger. Basketball, you could argue, there's still a trajectory for basketball. Other sports, soccer, whether it's some of the more sports on the fringe, whether it be lacrosse or the other things, room for growth.
There's no doubt. I mean, baseball.
Those two sports, baseball and golf, it feels like they will never be as popular as they once were, and baseball's most popular is a long way ago. Golf's is more recent.
Here's the thing. So baseball absolutely way in the rearview mirror. Golf still there, but I mean what's amazing to me is we put Mike Trout up against Rahm.
Right.
And it was even.
50-50. Could not be more even.
Now if we put Mike Trout up there against Tiger or Phil or maybe even a bunch of people would smoke Mike Trout. And Mike Trout's been the face of baseball.
But couldn't you also say that if you put John Rahm against Jeter?
But Jeter's not active anymore.
No, I understand.
Sure.
But you can be active in golf till you're in your 50s. But I guess what I'm saying is that if you were to do the same exercise we did with Rahm and Trout, if you did that exercise in the late 90s, early 2000s with Tiger and Jeter, instantly recognizable to all.
Probably.
I don't know that anybody wouldn't know who Derek Jeter was. You could probably do the dang near the same thing with, I don't think it'd be that far off with Ken Griffey Jr. if you even went 5 years previous to that, more like mid-90s. Ken Griffey Jr. was as big a star as there was in any sport.
Yep.
But here we are 20 years later, and neither one, there's no golf. The thinking was with Tiger that it would open golf up to this entirely new group of people in terms of playing, and there'd be more and more stars like that. That didn't happen. More people played, but there is not a significant number of African American players who went on to become great.
No,
that remains just how it was.
I would be curious. It
remains a country club sport.
What did, for example, the final round of Mickelson Koepka do relative to call it a World Series game
at the PGA
at Kiowa? Yeah, because that felt like a happening. That felt like bigger than anything.
Gibby, you can probably find
produce.
that for us. Final round PGA Mickelson Koepka ratings versus a World Series that isn't in a bubble,
right?
Non-bubbled World Series. What would that? It'd have to be a clinching World Series game because that's a clinching round. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far that is apart.
I have no idea. That felt at least
if Tiger were involved.
Well, of course. But
transcends.
That felt like when you watched it, that still felt like an absolute
event
happening. Yes.
But I also do think, though, that wouldn't you say that how we view a happening is in a way predicated on the silo where we get our information. So my guess is over the weekend, it felt to you like what was happening in WWE was all anyone was talking about.
Not all in it. Final Four was also it was mixed.
But it probably felt like WWE was preeminent to you, or Final Four.
On Saturday, probably mixed. Sunday, obviously WWE, and then Monday clearly was final. It was the final game, which was head-to-head with the Raw after Mania.
Yeah. So that's one thing about it. Like, it depends on, because we're now at a point where our information is siphoned for our wants and needs, and so it makes us think that the world we're living in is the most important, and that everyone's actively in it. Go ahead, Gibby. Do you have it?
Yeah. So it wasn't an NBA Finals game.
No, World Series. World Series.
It doesn't even have – it said it was the top sporting event of the weekend. It delivered a – this is the Mickelson-Koepka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Averaged a 3.9 rating, 6.58 million viewers on CBS, the highest rating of viewership for the event since Tiger Woods finished second in 18. Mickelson's win, which peaked with 13 million between 7 and 7:15 p.m., delivered the second largest golf audience of any kind since the sport went on hiatus.
So here's what I found for – this is 2021 World Series. So the 2021 World Series, the average viewer was 11.75 million. 2021 World Series, our most recent one.
Yeah.
So it would be bigger, not more than the peak, but overall it would be bigger
than the average.
This is the thing that's really disturbing, though, if you're that sport. In 2003, the average World Series game drew 25 million.
Yeah. I mean,
so that is a half
crash.
Loss of viewership, more than half loss of viewership.
It's a crash
in 20 years. That's off a cliff.
That's a crash.
Yeah, yeah, and that's where the rub is on that sport. So I find myself, it's amazing how much I've receded from baseball.
Oh,
it's crazy how much I have. Swag. That's right. Just
it is strong.
He
appreciated us today. I feel like we were the swags today.
I mean, he still was, but yes.
But on this day.
On this specific day. I'm also committed I wore shorts again to work. I'm just going to wear them every day. I'm not wearing pants anymore. I know it's going to snow over the weekend. I don't care.
I'm getting close to that because
I'm just going to act like it isn't happening.
With it getting a little bit warmer, I can tell you in the gym yesterday, and that's the beauty of those Lulu pants is that they can look like very nice pants, but you can also work out in them if you needed
really
to.
Great, yeah.
But it was a little hot, so now it's short season, baby. Let's go. State of mind.
I don't care. Saturday, no matter what. Going to snow? Mind. Don't care.
Shorts.
Don't care. Shorts. That's how that's going to go.
That's right.
All right, we have a couple of possible targets for Deshaun Watson making the NFL draft visits for the Browns on Friday. Treylon Burks, Christian Watson of North Dakota State confirm. There's no way Burks.
Baco Nation walking by. He's got a lot of Gatorade.
What did he have going
hydrated?
On? Backpack? He's hydrated. He's backpacking?
Yeah.
What's he got a backpack in the building for?
Maybe he's got more hydration.
Kind of like that guy who walks around with the cowboy hat all the time. That's meant to keep the sun off of your face.
No, that guy's legit.
You think I'm coming for him?
Absolutely not.
Please. Now, I'll go with the guy's walking around with some sort of a fake fifth bone broke, walking around like he doesn't have an Achilles. Fine. But not that guy. No guy with a hat.
Yeah. It's almost like he doesn't have a foot.
That's right. Almost like, absolutely, amputation. I don't think Christian Watson's going to be there either. For us, so you're going to have to trade up if we're going to go.
If either of those guys are to be Cleveland Browns, we will be trading into the first round.
Yeah, in order to do so.
I called it, weeks ago? Was it weeks ago that I said that? And that Watson's going to be a first-round lock, and now all of a sudden he's in every mock. I'm not going to take all the credit, just some. Perhaps that's why.
Ball's not going to spike itself.
Perhaps it was that kind of prescience and that kind of foresight that caused the BPA gang, spearheaded by the Ibs boys, to try to take me out.
Are both Ibs boys still podcasting?
Yeah.
I mean, there was writing and there was podcasting, but what's left?
Now podcast.
Just podcasting.
Yeah, we'll drop one today.
Who's on that?
What's that about?
Segura talking to Jakeem Grant.
My interview.
Can't be your headliner.
My interview.
Not,
you won't hear it here.
It's not the BPA then. It's the Nathan Zegura show.
Wasn't my call.
Gibbe, I do feel like just so
it does become that at this point it is the Nathan Zegura show featuring the Ibs boys.
There is a school of thought that I'm willing to entertain right now, Gibbe, that suggests, based on some of your recent comments, that whereas before I always was waiting for the day that you'd come to the ring wearing a Browns Daily T-shirt and then rip it off and reveal an Ibs boys T-shirt.
An Ibs boys, yeah.
Where now I feel like perhaps it's flipped, that you would wear an Ibs boys T-shirt to the ring
and go the other way
and then rip off a Browns Daily. I feel like your loyalties, even though you're in on the attempted assassination of me, but I think that was part of the to really sell.
Loyalties were already set long before.
No. You don't want us to believe that, because then that means
your loyalty. I'll run this by you as the king of wrestling.
Thank you.
This feels like him going to the Ibs boys feels like NWO Hogan. And now this could be back to yellow and red.
Playing the hits. I am a real
could it be?
Gibby. Rattling cages
Let's go.
every day.
Come on.
I am a real Gibby. Fight for what's right. Fight for CBD.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a mailbag edition of the program. To your questions.
Bobby Meckling has provided us an hour with some great questions.
Bobby Meckling is the greatest Ask CBD guy
ever.
You know they do that thing on Levitard where he gets the show. You don't get the show. Bobby Meckling gets the show.
He does. So does that guy yesterday who came with the Woes Bomb.
Yeah,
Shout
the
out
Woes
to
Bomb. I like that, too.
That was good.
Yeah. So get your Ask CBD questions, hashtag Ask CBD. We will get to those at 2:30. We'll go around the league coming up next. We have a little higher and lower fun that we're going to have as well. Anthony Tresh, is he going to join us at 2 o'clock?
People join us at 2 o'clock.
That's very, very exciting.
You know,
Keep you
when people
updated
don't
on the
get
mailbag
show.
as well.
That's sad. When people
You hate
don't
when people
get
don't
the
get the show.
Hate
I
it.
hate that.
Yeah,
I don't like to
it.
see that.
No.
We're off and running here on a Thursday edition. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. A lot of bad advice out there about gambling, secret methods, picking lottery numbers to betting big when you are on a roll. The myths can lose you money, get you in a lot of trouble. So before you wager, find out what's real and what isn't at keepitfunohio.com. The Beast is out. The Beast has dropped.
Yeah, baby.
Burglar's Beast has dropped. The draft guide is out now. It's kind of like the Beckham year.
Yeah, it's because we don't have that first round pick.
Yeah.
It feels not as fun. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, of course. Because when you're talking about the second round, I mean, we're sitting out Thursday, man. We're sitting out Thursday.
Maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe not. Maybe not. We're bringing in guys who are going to hear their names called on Thursday. So you
certainly have assets that we could bundle up.
Sure.
And lots of picks to bundle up if you wanted to make a run at somebody. Nevertheless, if you are dialed into the draft, love the draft, the beast is what you need.
It is the number one authority. It is the number one authority on the draft in the world. I don't have a problem with that statement. It is the best draft document in the world, period. If you want to know more about every player who's on your team, you get the beast. And it is worth the subscription to The Athletic itself is worth the beast, period. And you get all the other stuff too. So here's something I always like to do when the beast comes out. So it's your point, right? We don't have a first round pick.
Yep.
So here are the positions that we know that we're really looking at. So who are the people that have, according to Dane, how many people have first or second round grades at wide receiver? Here are his receivers in order. And I'll say first round, and then we'll get in the next. So first round grades: Wilson, Jamison Williams, Drake London, Chris Olave, Treylon Burks, Jahan Dotson. I like Johan. Jahan Dotson, so 6. Second round grades: Sky Moore, George Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, Christian Watson. So 10 total have first, second, third. So some topping those. And then after that into the third is where you have John Mechie, Alec Pierce from Cincinnati, David Bell from Purdue, Wan'Dale Robinson, you've talked about him quite a bit, from Kentucky, and Calvin Austin III from Memphis. So that's the top. So that's the wide receiver positions. That's a position certainly that the Browns could be interested in. What's cool about Dane is he gives you all this, and then you get full-on details about everybody too, plus guys that are priority free agents. You get the entire list. And so then you get to go down. We'll say, okay, what are our other needs? We got defensive end. We've got defensive tackle. And he does every single position in the draft, whether it relates to your football team or not. You just want to understand. There you go. All right.
Here's something just for the people who aren't streaming, the non-nanas in the world who are not streaming.
Yes.
Z is doing this all by scrolling on your phone.
That's right. All on my phone.
You're not going through. You can print the document.
Do it. I'd highly recommend.
I would, but you can also just do as Z is doing and just scroll.
All right. So here we go. And I think this is where it gets very interesting. So edge rusher. So we had 10 receivers with first or second round grades. Edge rushers: Aiden Hutchinson, Travon Walker, Kayvon Thibodeau, Jermaine Johnson, George Karlaftis, Arnold Ebiketie. How did I say that right? Penn State? Close enough?
Close enough.
Logan Hall from Houston. So he's got 5 true first-rounders, 2 first-seconds, which is Ebiketie and Logan Hall. Then he has in the second, only because of the injury, David Ajabo, Boye Mafe, who played at Minnesota, Drake Jackson, USC, Nick Bonito, Oklahoma, Kingsley Engabar from South Carolina, which is a heck of a name. So
Kingsley?
Yeah.
Like Kingsley Zissou?
That's right.
Wow.
Engabare.
That is a name.
He's got pronunciations too if I get down there.
I like that a lot. I like that name.
So the point is you've got 12 defensive ends, edge rushers, again, a big need with first or second round grades, and then he's got another 6 with third round grades. Dominique Robinson, D'Angelo Malone, Josh Paschal, Cameron Thomas, Sam Williams, Alex Wright. Tyreek Smith, by the way, from Ohio State, we talked about yesterday, 4th, 5th round grade. So 18 and what do we say, 12? So that's 32, or that's 30, I'm sorry. Here's Kingsley. Kingsley Enagbare. Kingsley Enagbare. Great name. South Carolina. 6'3", 260. Like him. First team all SEC. Write that. So maybe we'll get a Kingsley in here. And then we go to the interior of the defensive line. So this one not as rich as you wouldn't expect it to be. But he has first-round grades on Devontae Wyatt from Georgia, Jordan Davis from Georgia. Man, they were formidable. Travis Jones from Connecticut. Second-round grade, Perrion Winfrey, who's been linked to us sometimes. Second-round, DeMarvin Leal from Texas A&M. Fedarian Mathis from Alabama. Those are the guys that you got in that first, second round. So 6 there. So 36, and we're talking about 64 picks in the first 2 rounds, are in, and according to his grades, in what we're looking for.
In our positions
of need.
Yeah.
So that's good because we're not talking about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about offensive linemen.
Nope.
We didn't talk about corners. We didn't talk about safeties.
No.
Which are all going to go.
All going to go.
So if you're the Browns, you should have a good spot there. And then when you think about getting into the third round, there are going to be opportunities there as well. By the way, Haskell Garrett, who we talked about, 6th, 7th round grade from Dane Brugler. But point is, and that's just from the Beast. I was able to give you that information just from the Beast, just like that.
Yep. And that, by the way, is how Georgia beat Alabama. They had a historically great defense.
Fast, speed.
Yes, a lot of first-round guys.
Yep.
The Pro Football Talk aggregating this: if Tom Brady had stayed retired, there's a chance he could have been a minority owner of the Miami Dolphins. That was talked about. The Dolphins in an ownership with Stephen Ross, who's a Michigan alum, much like Brady, that there was talk of that even he could have gone there and played, and then ownership would have been a part of that. And then the 49ers thing. And I do wonder if Tampa Bay – do you think Tampa Bay was like, look, dude, we ain't trading you?
It feels that way.
Doesn't it? Kind of feels like it. And they're like, hey, you don't like Arians, we'll make it right for you. We'll get rid of Arians. We'll move him to the front office.
If that's even real, but yes.
If that's real. I mean, a lot of people said that it is.
It feels that way.
It feels like it.
A lot of people who played there, though,
say no.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, he probably was going – I mean, when we were at the comment, it was like, look, he's going to go to the 49ers.
Yeah. That was
and then
the Super Bowl. That's all anybody was talking about.
All anybody was talking about. He was going to the 49ers. Miami had a little bit of whisper. And then it feels like Tampa was like – and I wonder because they flew – I know him and his kid went over to Manchester United. Remember with Ronaldo? And the Glazers own Man United. And I wonder if that was like, hey,
dude,
let's make this right. Like, what do we need? We want you to play here. You're under contract. Like,
we're not letting you play anywhere else. Sorry.
Right.
We love you.
But how would you like?
Not happening.
How would your son like to meet Cristiano Ronaldo? We'll put you on a plane. We'll fly over to Manchester and we'll do it up.
Yes.
Doesn't that seem like kind of how things have happened here? Feels like it.
What?
Right?
Yeah. That's right.
Jordan Schultz with this. The Cowboys, Packers, Jets, Saints, and Eagles have all called the Texans about Brandon Cooks. You talked about him a long, long time ago. The Rams and Raiders both previously called about Allen Robinson, Devontae Adams moves. The Cooks thing, it's just the money's pretty big.
It's a big deal in
16?
terms of the money, but his guy has 1,000 yards with everybody he plays for. I mean, he's the only person ever to have 1,000 yards receiving with 3 different teams in 3 consecutive seasons.
Yeah, but for some reason is on a lot of teams, which is weird because everybody loves him. I remember
people I've talked to who work with him love him.
Yeah, Laurinaitis played with him with the Rams and said that he was great. Loved him. Great dude.
Patriots loved him.
Yeah.
I think he's one of those things where he's maybe not a true number one, but he's good enough to get paid like a true number one, but he's maybe not a true number one, and so then he kind of ends up in the middle ground in terms of what actually is. But, I mean, the guy, what he is a producer. I'm surprised because we had heard from other sources, not Jordan Schultz, that the Browns had potentially made calls or been interested. And I can tell you this. I spent about 2 hours this morning watching Deshaun Watson tape.
Yeah. How was that?
Like, I knew he was good, but I had no idea he was that good. I mean,
at that level. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Accuracy, arm strength, Houdini-ness, ability to run.
He's top 5 quarterback in the league, man.
I mean,
yeah,
unbelievable. But what jumps out at you is Will Fuller, when healthy back then, absolutely could play, get open, create separation, and make huge plays. He and DeAndre Hopkins only had a brief period of time together, but that was awful fun to watch. And then Cooks is electric as well. So you had the highlights and then there are people where you're like, I don't even know who that is, but he makes them look like $1 million because that's how good he was. But Brandon Cooks can play, and he'd be a good fit for what we want. You know, you don't know if Will Fuller has anything left. If Will Fuller does, if he's healthy, he ends up being an absolute steal. If he's not and he's on the sideline, you know, that's the biggest question with him. It's not his playing ability, it's his availability.
That's
the biggest question.
And that's a big ability that matters. Yeah. That's a big one.
Some would say it's the only ability.
The only one that matters.
That's right.
Terrell Owens says he's still waiting on a call from the NFL. Keep waiting. Going to be a long time.
Isn't he like
you have
50?
You have these 2 parallel lines. Talent, PIA, pain in the asinine.
By the way, I believe those lines are parallel.
Right. And then now they go vertically.
They will never touch.
Once this line, the PIA line, passes the talent line, there's no coming back.
That's right.
So T.O. did this 15 years ago. It's the shoe game that is so.
Well, today it's
we
so
paid
subtle.
So much. We paid so much attention to the jackets and the swackets,
Yes.
and the layering and the vesting. But every once in recent days, and he's always got a sneaker situation.
But he's been switching it up on us.
He's moving it
boots.
around a lot. He's got there's a Chelsea boot, I think is what I would call them. There's a Chelsea boot he wears. It appears that he has every shade in that boot.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is a nice gray, a nice soft gray, a dove gray, if you will.
Yeah.
Never ceases to amaze.
No, it doesn't.
All right, yesterday on Higher Lower, we did the best divisions in football. They ranked them on quarterbacks as well, so we will get to that. I want to run something by you as well from a pop culture standpoint that ties into the Masters and also Major League Baseball opening day. We do all of that coming up next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Here for Char Whiskey Bar and Grill in Rocky River. Enjoy over 300 whiskeys, craft cocktails paired with made-from-scratch menu items. Char will also be coming out with a new spring menu in a couple of weeks. New items on the brunch and the main menu. Support local. Visit Char Whiskey Bar and Grill in Rocky River or at char/rockyriver.com. Mr. Zegura?
Pretty sure on number 9 on his approach shot, it does look like to be his approach shot. It is his approach shot. Joaquin Niemann, about 15 feet past the pin and to the left, spin, tracking, eagle.
He
Dunked
started
it.
+1. What's he
Dunked
doing
it.
now?
So this is the one thing that's tricky about doing this show with you right now.
Dunked it.
Is your reaction that you just had as we were coming back from break. I didn't realize that you have that on there. So I see that you do now. But I was thinking, did something come across Twitter as we were coming back? Like, was Lamar Jackson traded? Was Kyler Murray traded? And then if you were to say, well, what do you think that the reaction that you saw, what would elicit that? I would not have had what it was.
A dunk from
140?
140?
From a guy I've never heard of.
Joaquin Niemann's good.
I haven't heard of him.
He's currently leading the Masters, 3 under.
Fantastic. Well, that eagle helps with that, doesn't it?
Well, that's 2 of the 3.
Yeah, that'll do it. Winning Time picked up for a second season on HBO.
Lovely. So is the first season over?
No, I think it's still going on.
Okay.
I think I'm up to date with it.
Okay.
I mean, you know the history of it. I don't think I'm ruining it for anything. But
No.
you know that the guy who's the coach, Jack McKinney, whatever.
Yeah.
The guy they get from Portland after Jerry West decides he doesn't want to coach the team anymore.
Yeah.
That guy gets in a nearly fatal bicycle accident, which is how Paul Westhead ends up coaching the Lakers to the championship, and then it ends up being Riley.
And then it's Magic or Westhead.
That's kind of the way that it's always been told. I'm interested to see how they portray it.
Sure.
Because Westhead is portrayed so far as a wallflower on this series. Like, I don't know how anyone had much of a problem with
Magic hated him though and wanted out.
That's always been the story.
Yeah.
And then I believe they were going to do like a Riley and Jerry West were going to co-coach at one point after Westhead was fired.
I remember
but then West went up to the front office, and the rest, as they would say, is history. So I'm just curious, like, where they pick Winning Time up at. If my hunch is this season will go all the way through their championship win against Philly, where Magic plays center and guard and has a triple-double in the clinching Game 6 without Kareem.
That's right. His rookie season.
His rookie year. So
but
I imagine
he couldn't beat Norm Nixon at a party while Norm Nixon was wearing a fur and giving up 8 inches to him.
Started at center against Daryl Dawkins and Dr. J.
That's right.
In 79 and had
That's right.
42, like 13 and 12 or 11.
Yeah, that's right.
As a 19-year-old, but somehow couldn't beat Norm Nixon at Donald Sterling's house.
No.
Hard to wrap your head around.
Didn't even attempt to back him down.
To body him at all.
At all.
No.
In fact, the opening salvo that they thought was going to represent Magic Johnson's approach to basketball, the first thing he tried to do was just take like a real quick kind of step back 30-footer. No.
No.
Certainly not coming out of Michigan State. That's not what he was doing.
It's not what he was doing, in fact, in any way, shape, or form.
In fact, the only time I really remember him starting to really shoot the 3-ball was the one All-Star game he came back to and got to play after the HIV, and they just kind of let him shoot, and he probably had been doing a lot of just shooting without a lot of basketball, and so he shot some threes. But that couldn't be the furthest thing from how he would approach that possession.
Yeah, you're right. He had a shot over Jordan in that All-Star game, and then the next time down he had a bank shot 3 over Isaiah, and they just stopped the game with 17 seconds left. Like, that's good.
it.
We're not doing better than that. Let's get the hell
walk
out of
off.
here.
Let's go.
So I'm curious, because I do think that one thing that they could make a mistake here is thinking there's more to this story than there is.
Well, I wouldn't mind going through the Lakers Celtics period, and for example, there was a GIF when I mentioned Kurt Rambis as one of the great Lakers because it was like something like, back in the day,
back in my day,
if you wanted to stop Kurt Rambis from trying to make a layup, you tried to kill him, and it's the famous
Kevin
clip
McHale.
of McHale literally trying to decapitate him and then take his head on the way down and throw it directly into the hardwood floor, which resulted in a little bit of a fracas, but certainly not an ejection.
I don't think anyone was ejected. I'm not even sure if there was a technical.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, that was an era, though, too. Like, Larry Bird fought Dr. J.
That's right.
On the court.
Listen, Rudy Tomjanovich, never the same.
Meantime, we live in a world where LeBron is saying, I'd really like to play with Steph, and Steph's like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, how about that?
That was pretty good. LeBron's trying to play with everybody. Magic, Bird and Dr. J were at their throats.
Fighting each other.
Fighting on the court. Amazing.
Tiger, big putt for par on 9. Got it.
Good for him.
Huge par save.
Yeah, he needed it. Yesterday we did the higher and lower on the quarterback. So apparently this is CBS Sports. They did the divisions with just the quarterbacks. And guess what? It's very similar to what we did on divisional rankings yesterday. As it turns out, that position's pretty important. And if you were listening to the show yesterday, anytime we would do the divisional rankings,
This is exactly what we did.
Exactly what we said. The first thing we would do is we would go to who are the quarterbacks.
That's
First thing you do. Who are the quarterbacks?
Yep.
So it goes the way you thought it would be. AFC West, Mahomes, Herbert, Wilson, Carr. Us in the North with Watson, Burrow, Jackson, Trubisky. The NFC North, Rodgers, Cousins, Fields, Goff.
I don't agree with that.
You have the NFC
North
West.
Is third?
No, I would have the NFC.
Well,
yeah,
see,
probably.
this is the big discrep.
Because they're going with Lance over Garoppolo. And if Garoppolo's there instead of Lance, the NFC West is definitely third.
I would take the NFC West too if Garoppolo's there. Don't you think he will be? Where's the trade destination for him?
Carolina is the only Carolina. He's not going to Seattle.
No, so it's Carolina or New Orleans, but it feels like they're going to go with Jameis.
Yeah. I also find it hard to believe, and I really don't love the quarterbacks in that group, but I find it hard to believe the South, with the strength of Brady, is behind the NFC East. I would take umbrage with that.
I would take Brady on his own ahead of Wentz, Prescott, Hurts, and Jones.
I would take him on his own over Ryan Tannehill, Lawrence, and Mills.
Same.
I think the AFC East, I like that group a little bit better than most people, because I just think Josh Allen is so good.
Allen is so good, but the other three are very questionable.
Sure. Tua, actually, his numbers are not that bad.
It's a lot.
And he's going to have this year Tyreek. Look, if he can't do it this year, he's never going to do it. Would you like some of my water? Do you need is it urgent?
No, it's not urgent. I'm fine. But this happened to me yesterday. Thank you, Gibby. Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Don't you go dying on me. Zegura, what are you doing?
Waiting for Beau to have his drink. Everybody knows he's having a drink.
Yeah, that still means you have to fill.
You came in. I said Gibby.
There's a great.
That's what I did.
There's a great scene in Winning Time where a little bit later is Pat Riley starting to be part of the broadcast team, and Chick Hearn, who's legendary, and
the incomparable.
much the way that they kind of come at Wes, they come at Chick Hearn, which was harder for me.
Why?
Both was a little tough, like in terms of the way that Chick Hearn went about his business. And I never heard any of this about Chick Hearn, but I never heard any of that stuff about West either. So I think maybe they're dramatizing it.
It's a lot of pushback.
But Riley is trying to get himself into the broad. What can I do? Pat's points, this type of stuff. And Chick Hearn goes, he's doing like his teeth, and he goes, Patrick, what is this? Or he goes, what is this? And Pat goes, it's your hand. And he goes, no, it's a fist. When it's closed, you shut up. Talk. Shut up.
Legend.
When you do this, when I do this,
that's it for you.
You shut up.
That's it.
That's your lesson, Patrick.
There
you want to be a part of the broadcast? Shut up. I don't know if that really happened.
It feels like that didn't happen.
It's a bold. I mean, that would be quite prickly.
I think that could have happened.
I think it could happen.
Have you heard anything about Chick being?
I thought he was beloved.
But I don't know that
Chick
he would
didn't have a filter. I know that.
Well, and he did it by himself a lot. Towards the end, he was kind of on his own. I just wonder, from a
Sags.
Sags
loving the lids,
loving the whole outlook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would he have been big enough deal in 1979 to do that to Pat Riley, who was a Laker player?
Patrick.
You know what? It probably comes down to if the players liked him.
Yeah.
Was Magic there in 79?
Yeah.
He won the title.
No, I couldn't remember
79-80.
If he came in 80 or.
He won the 79 national championship at Michigan State, and then he's 79 to 80 that year. He's with the Lakers. They draft him number 1.
So, I mean, if Magic's a fan of his.
This is a meeting of the absolute apex effort. It's happening right outside this office.
Power.
What are you capable of doing today? How about you? Just testing each other.
That's right.
Who can do more in a day?
That's right.
Just hitting up against the ceiling.
They're going after the Brad Mellon Pursuit of Perfection.
They better not be walking around with a hoodie.
Did
you guys get that done in the week that I was gone?
Let me tell you something.
Anywhere in
I
a hoodie?
had
hoodie. What?
It was an exchanging of unpleasantries. with Mr. Melland over what had come to light over somebody not even in the organization receiving a hoodie, and he denied it at first. And then
I don't know this information. This is new to me.
He kept kind of denying it, to be honest with you.
Oh, no, you know who
The
we're
saunter.
talking about. The person that has the hoodie that we're all
Enoch.
like.
Oh,
And
right.
he's like, and I have the black one.
Yeah,
He had
and
the
he put a
receipts.
picture. He put a
Yeah, the
picture out about
receipts.
it, and,
Yeah.
and then it was claimed by Mr. Melton that he was not a part of that.
He
And that
would have
was
had to have
gonna
been.
make-
Who's doing those?
that he's going to make this right, is what I was told. Still waiting. Still waiting. That's what hashtag still waiting.
How are we going to define making it right?
It's a great question.
That Zegura only gets the hoodie? Is that a definition of making it right, or is that
It's
sort
a
of right?
start.
I mean, it's
I
fine.
believe
don't-
I'm a team player. I think we all
I
deserve
do not
them.
need the hoodie.
I think I do, quite frankly.
You do, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like I've been a trapezist.
Is that because?
Is that even a word?
Is that because you would have
Like,
want
honestly,
something?
one in every color would be appropriate.
Is that because Gibbe, you don't want something that would be bestowed upon
I'd like
CBD?
one in a cream.
I think Gibbe would want it if they were handed out to the BPA.
The BPA boys.
Yeah.
That would be the ultimate. That's
The
what I would
best
say
is
the
you
next
going
level's
back
next.
and forth
I'll see you on down the road, boys.
One segment here, one segment here.
Right back.
Here I go, playing a
Keep-
little hopscotch.
Keep people on their toes, Gibbe. I like that you're pushing back though. In the old days,
I still believe that if someone deems me worthy enough, that I'll get it one day.
all I'm saying is in the old days.
And if not, I
What's
guess
the
I'll
line
just
from
have
Jimmy
to,
Johnson? Jimmy Johnson.
have to buy something.
They're at.
can't buy it.
He's in the Hall of Fame. He's on the Fox on NFL set with Jerry Jones, and it's either Strahan or Bradshaw asked Jerry Jones if this will now get Jimmy in the Ring of Honor, and Jerry's hemming and hawing.
it was at like the Hall of Fame game.
and,
Yeah,
and Jerry
Yes.
and Jimmy goes, well, hopefully before I'm dead.
yeah,
That's how I feel about the hoodie. Hopefully before I'm dead.
same.
Not
Some
holding your
point
breath.
before I'm
You don't
dead
wanna
would
hold the
be
breath.
wonderful. That would be great. for all of the
Gibbe, I have
efforts.
to flip flop every now and then just to continue to test the continuity of your answers. And right now, I would say the needle is pointing strongly at CBD, which brings me really immeasurable joy.
Let me ask you guys this. So
It's
today
always
is
been there.
today is opening day in the Masters.
Mm.
If you could only watch, and I know what your answer will be, but I think yours would be more difficult. If you could only watch golf movies or baseball movies,
For the rest of my life?
only one.
Movies?
Movies.
Like cinema.
Yes, only movies made about baseball and movies made about golf. And both are great. I would argue Major League and Caddyshack are at the very top of any sports movie ranking. Those
Sure.
two would be at the very top. I put
Sure.
Hoosiers there too, but that's more of an emotional movie.
Yeah.
Whereas Major League and
Rudy's not
Caddyshack-
allowed on the list.
Rudy sucks.
Stinks. It's probably the worst movie ever.
I agree. It's terrible.
Like,
me
it's
a
one of those,
break.
if it comes up, it somehow makes its way onto my screen,
out.
immediate change.
Get out. Nonsense.
I'd rather turn the TV off.
Baseball movies or golf movies.
I mean, it's golf because I can't live without Caddyshack. It's a part of who I am.
So it's
a part of my
and that
family.
and it's not just Caddyshack.
But I mean, I would say it on the strength of that alone. Tin Cup, some of it shot in Tucson at a
Yeah.
golf course I played with Zago. Zago.
The great song.
The great Zago. So, there you go.
You also get Happy Gilmore,
Yeah.
quite strong.
Yeah, not really excited about adding Bagger Vance to the list.
Charlize Theron.
Will Smith and Damon, right?
Yeah,
How could that be? And I read the book. Amazing book.
I think Theron's the only thing that makes that work.
I-
But Major League, you're getting Major League, Field of Dreams,
Sandlot.
Sandlot, great.
Are we really calling that a baseball movie?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yes.
you play ball like a girl. Like that's all of that's in there.
You've got what's the Tom? Why can't I think of the name of the Tom Hanks? This used to be our playground.
Oh
Right?
the with Gina Davis.
Yeah,
I'm blanking on it.
Like I'm
the
not
Rockford
into.
Peaches.
Right.
I think I got to go baseball. It
Madonna?
kills me. I love Caddyshack. It's one of my all-time faves, but I feel like there's a significant drop-off after that. And baseball.
Tin Cups and Happy Gilmore, fantastic.
Tin Cup and Happy Gilmore are both
Yeah.
great. You also get Bull Durham with baseball. Bull Durham's great.
That's what I'm looking at. Bull Durham, Little Field of Dreams, The
Field of-
Natural,
Natural's quite long.
Mr. Baseball, Little Tom Selleck.
Mr.
That's getting in there.
Baseball.
I think what this is going to come
but
down
you
to.
also end up having now. Do you have to watch everything that's in the catalog?
No,
Like,
no,
are
no. You
but
can
that
just
gives
pick
you that
one
gives you more
genre or
options.
the
Are you
other.
stuck watching Angels in the Outfield?
No,
Or
no,
what
no,
about
no,
Rookie
no.
of the
Rookie
Year?
of the Year. No, none of that. You get one entity or the other.
I'm taking.
You can't live without.
I watch
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack on my birthday every year. I
Yeah,
own
you
Caddyshack
couldn't.
stuff.
Yeah,
I've read every book that's ever been written, the oral histories of Caddyshack.
Yeah, it's hard to
everything.
overcome it. It is. Yeah.
It's my favorite movie.
Gibby, where are you? You'd go the baseball?
I think I got to go baseball. There's just a bigger catalog.
I don't need a catalog. I need greatness. It's like I don't need
Major League is.
I don't need a
Other
billion
than
friends. I
Other
need
than
best
Tom
friends.
Berenger being a little stocky, a little bit of a stalker. If they could just cut that part out, the rest is perfection.
You mean when he just shows up in her apartment unannounced?
Not even her apartment, her boyfriend's apartment.
That's right.
He followed her home unannounced and just shows up in his gear.
I also have a little bit of
It's
a
a bit
problem
aggressive.
with the fact that now it does happen. There are places I've been in a building where this does happen once in my entire life, where the elevator opens up into your living space.
Yes. I don't know that exists here. Are there those here?
No, I believe those are like
in Naples.
super penthouses in
In New York.
New York,
Or
on the
in
beach
Florida.
in Florida.
Those are the
Yeah.
places I've seen those. I've
Yeah.
not seen
where
those
you have the whole floor.
where you have the whole
A
floor.
league of their own.
A league of
League of
their
their
own.
own.
There it is.
Yeah,
there
there
it
you
is.
go.
Cunningham wants to turn us off because he's a domer and he believes he's been insulted by your Rudy comments.
He said he wasn't going to be paying attention to the show because he was going to be watching the Masters, and now he's upset because we besmirched.
Yeah,
Rudy.
but that caught my ears.
Danny, I'm
It's a
sorry.
horrible
it sucks.
film. It's
terrible.
maybe the worst. And I
No,
went
it's
to
not.
It's not even real. It's all nonsense.
my high
It's a
school.
movie. It's not supposed to be real.
But it was passed
Oh,
off
passed
as
off
real.
as real.
The guy goes around to places acting like it's real.
That's right.
It's nonsense.
I'm not defending the guy. I'm defending
By the way,
the movie.
How about it's so hard for his dad to be happy that he's actually on the Notre Dame team? What's so hard about that? You'd be pretty excited if your little runt kid somehow got to be on the team, and his
It's a
dad's still
demanding father.
begrudging. What's he want him back in the factory? He's at Notre Dame, for God's sake. It's going to go a little bit little way further. No good. No good.
You're wrong.
I mean, it is the
It's one of my
absolute
worst.
worst. And by the way, I want you to know this because I think it's relevant to say, well, I should be a big Notre Dame guy. And look, Joe went there, know that. So the high school I went to, Moreau Catholic High School, located in Hayward, California, or that you went to, one of us went to it, is founded by the Brothers of the Holy Cross, named after Father Basil Moreau, who founded the Brothers of the Holy Cross, which is the one that led to Notre Dame. In fact, the Moreau Seminary is located on the University of Notre Dame campus.
Oh, I
This is
have
something that knew.
great.
Yes.
That's incredible. I have great admiration and
Yes.
respect and love the mythology of Notre Dame and love all about it. Just think the movie sucks.
Yeah,
Um,
same. The worst.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rudy, I don't know if I could sum this up any better than what I'm about to say. And for me, it makes sense, maybe not for others. Rudy is the Mateen Cleaves of movies.
If it would be acceptable for me to kiss you on the forehead and embrace you right now on this stream, I would, because
I'll
I
come
think that's probably the greatest analogy I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth ever, and I know exactly what you're talking about. Come here. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's a beautiful moment. You crushed that. I mean, honestly,
there's really
there's
no other way
to say it.
There's no other way to say it.
That's perfect. I don't even know where you came up with that. I don't know if you've ever said it out loud before.
No, first time ever.
But that's it.
But that's what came
You
to
did
me.
it.
Yeah.
Flintstones. Remember that nonsense?
Ugh.
Same.
I might leave. I feel really.
Next
I'm
level's
almost
next.
emotional about
Next
how good
level's
of a moment
next.
that was.
Been dying to say it. We're
Yeah.
52 minutes in.
54.
Car
54.
truck or motorcycle accident caused you injury. That was so brilliant. I can't even wrap my head around.
You can use it. Use it all.
That'll never
anywhere
be
you want.
topped.
Well,
Call the injury lawyers.
I'm
at
going to
1-800
aspire to
Ohio.
still be. I'm like just the meeting of the minds out there. How can we be better?
How can we be
I'm
better?
gonna-
You just-
I'm going to keep trying to be better. I just don't know if I
It was
can.
probably the most perfect analogy.
Melon should walk in here with a sweatshirt
Right
right
now.
now. Right now. There's no doubt.
Give Elk and Elk a call. 1-800 Elk Ohio. They're a proud partner of the Cleveland. That's unbelievable what you just did. Anthony Tresh will join us coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Truly. Rumpke Waste Recycling, family owned and operated. Whether you join them as a customer or as an employee, you'll become part of the family. Visit rumpke.com to learn more. We head on the hotline for a visit with Anthony Tresh, Pro Football Focus lead college football analyst. The draft getting closer. Let's go big picture, and then we'll get into some specifics at 44. Anthony, positions of strength. Nathan and I were talking in the first hour. It feels like they seem to line up with what we think we may need, talking about receiver and on the defensive line. What do you see?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, edge is definitely, I think, the biggest strength in this entire class. I mean, it's incredibly deep. I mean, you're getting some guys that could be available at the end of the second round that would be available, some classes maybe 30 picks earlier. I mean, it's just an awesome class at the position. I do think at receiver, it's another deep class as we've seen over the last few years. But I think the difference between this class and the last few years is that there's not that, consensus top guy, right? I mean, you're not having a Jamar Chase out there, really even a Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith. It's just full of very high floor guys, number two reliable options, which is still very valuable in the league. And, in the Browns case, I mean, that suits well for them because I think the difference between some of the guys, near the top and some of the guys will probably go around maybe where Cleveland's picking, it's not as drastic as what you'd see in some years. So, I mean, those are some two deep positions. I think all-fall linebacker, too. I think that doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, I think that is an incredibly deep position, and I think you're going to be able to get starting, high-level starting talent possibly, and even round 3. I mean, just because, the way the NFL is kind of valuing some of the other positions. So it'll be interesting to see how everything shakes out. But, for teams that don't have a first-round pick and they have those day 2 options like Cleveland, I mean, they're in a pretty good position there.
We're in a very good position. So I want to do a little exercise for you to kind of take us inside the mind of Andrew Berry, but more actually inside of your mind. So I'm going to give you a couple positions, but we'll just start with wide receiver. Who would you want to trade in if they're there at the end of the first round, like a realistic person? Not if Garrett Wilson happens to be there, 28. A wide receiver that you would trade into the end of the first round for, a wide receiver you'd take it at 44, and then somebody, if they were there in the third round, kind of a consensus third round guy that you really like.
Yeah, I think if you had to trade into the first round for any of them, and, I think this receiver, they could end up being available at 44, but I think it's more likely that they get picked near the end of the first round. Christian Watson from North Dakota State. I really like his upside. And, I think he's kind of, he's exactly what everybody wants Traylon Burks from Arkansas to be, right? I mean, he has that big frame at 6'4", 208 pounds, and he has unreal athleticism for that size. I mean, he blew up the scouting combine. He's a big winner there. And at the Senior Bowl, too, he was clearly the best receiver in attendance. I mean, heck, we were talking, me and some of the guys from PFF, we were talking with a head coach from the Power 5, and he said, I mean, the best player here is that receiver from North Dakota State, Christian Watson. And so, a lot of people are taking notice of his skill set. And, I think he's just kind of starting to develop into what he can really be. I mean, playing in a very run-heavy offense with the Bison. And, he still put up, very high-quality numbers for him last year, over 4.3 yards per route run. I mean, that's really hard to do at any level of football. And, he can be used in creative ways. And, I think he has the capability of, developing into a true X receiver with further development. And I like what he did this past year. So I think that's one there. As for, who might be available there at 44, like I said, Watson could be one of them. I think Sky Moore is a little bit more likely, and he's kind of, I think, in that Watson type of camp on where he might be available. And it's kind of hard to value just because, like I said, like this receiver class is very much a pick your poison group. Everybody has different rankings across the board, and it just takes for one team to kind of mess up the consensus there. But Sky Moore could be an option there at 44 from Western Michigan. He's a little bit on the smaller end, but the size was never an issue at any point in his collegiate career. I mean, he was actually the highest graded wide receiver this past year in the PFF grading base. I mean, I really like what he has to offer. He's a shifty guy after the catch. He can get off press coverage. He's a good route runner. And I think that'd be good value there. I mean, so if you had to trade up into the back end of the first round, I would probably be eyeing Christian Watson.
Yep.
But, he could be there at 44, and I think Sky Moore would be a good option there at 44 too.
Anthony Tresh, our guest, Pro Football Focus leads college football analyst. In your mock, you have us at 44 going Nick Bonito, the edge out of Oklahoma. He's quite effective and a good one, and I'm guessing you have him graded quite well. Talk a little bit about what you like about him, the fit that he would be, what type of player is he, player comps, if you will, and then just the defensive end class in general, who could be available at 44 that you like.
Yeah, and I went with Nick Benito there just because I already had that big run of wide receivers right before that because of, I think it's a more valuable position, and I really like this class. So unfortunately for Cleveland in my mock, I didn't see a wide receiver there for them to take. But Nick Benito on the other hand, I think that would be a very good value there. I mean, looking at his collegiate production, I mean, it's actually some of the best that we've seen in college football over the last couple of years. He's quietly been the highest graded pass rusher. He owns the highest pass win rate, highest pressure rate since 2020 in the entire FBS. And and most people would not think that. They would guess a lot of other people. But it was Nick Benito from Oklahoma. And I think we may not see that same type of elite level production kind of translate to the NFL just because he's not the biggest dude. He doesn't have the longest arms. And he doesn't really have much power into his game. But at the same time, like I said, he has the production and, he has the athleticism and the twitch. And, I think he's getting, very developed as a pass rusher. And, of course, those numbers can kind of attest to that. And so I think he can make up for it. And I think there with this deep edge class and getting him at 44 would be a steal. And I think he could even slide further than that. And, when we, get to actual draft day on day 2 there on that Friday night. So we just need to see where he kind of falls there. But, I think for Cleveland, even though he's probably going to be a DPR to start, you don't really want him in the run game right away. I still think that he can develop into a high-quality player. And, as far as the player comp goes, I think this is a good one. And, I don't always agree with him, but our lead draft analyst, Mike Renner, who kind of heads the PFF draft guide, he put Hassan Reddick in there. And I agree with that. I think that's a pretty good comp, and I think that could be a good player for him.
What would you think about David Ojabo if he was there at 44, a guy that prior to the Achilles, you're probably going to have to redshirt and would have gone in the first round. But is this a situation where a team is going to be able to do what, Tennessee did with Jeffrey Simmons, obviously different position, but in terms of taking a gamble on an injured guy and then getting a stud later on?
Yeah, and that's something I actually thought about because I had David Ojabo going one pick later in this mock draft. And I think if anybody can take a, swing on David Ojabo, I think Cleveland's in a position to do so because, the roster is stacked. It's a very good roster. And, that's kind of the teams that are going to be able to take a swing on someone that just ruptured their Achilles. I do get a little bit concerned with Ojabo, and I will say before the injury, I was pretty low on him, compared to the consensus because, we were starting to see, he could go top 10 and he maybe top 15, but I would still more maybe the back end of the first round, ideally beginning of day 2. He has the tools to kind of be something special, and he hasn't been playing football for long.
It's very raw.
Under 5 years. And he's an extraordinary athlete. And this past year, I was very impressed with just the growth we saw in 1 year. He played, I think, like 26 snaps at Michigan before this season, and he grew more than most guys do throughout their collegiate career in just one off season as far as his pass rush move repertoire. It was really cool to see just kind of that growth that he had there, but it was very coming and going, right? It was very inconsistent. He had some elite graded performances. Some games he just completely disappeared, and again, he's not going to be one that you really want on the field for the run. And we saw that there at the end of the season against Georgia. And so I do think that before the injury, he was a player that I thought he would take a little bit more time to get to his ceiling than I think some people were kind of expecting. And I think this injury kind of sets it back a little bit. So I think, as far as like the Jeffrey Simmons, I think the situations might be a little bit more different. I think Simmons was a little bit more developed. If Ojabo, even though he did show a lot of growth this past year, was a little bit more developed, I'd be comfortable with it. But if it's someone like Benito or Ojabo, I would lean Benito. Just because I think it's going to take a few years before Ojabo can, make a significant dent on the field.
Anthony, if it's not end and it's not receiver, potentially it could be in the interior on the defensive line. What type of value could there be at 44? Could somebody slip? Who do you love in that vicinity in the interior?
Yeah, this interior class is definitely not like the edge group, right? I think it's pretty weak overall. I think there's a big drop-off after the top 3 guys, and there's a good chance those top 3 guys, both guys from Georgia, Jordan Davis, of course, and Devontae Wyatt, and then UConn's Travis Jones. Those 3 could go in the first round. I'm starting to doubt that there would be, any scenario that one of them would be available at 44. I think if anyone, it would be Travis Jones, and I think that would be an absolute steal. The guy was one of the most dominant players at the Senior Bowl, and seeing him live in person, the guy's just, a brute force, power all throughout his frame, and even though he's playing on one of the worst teams in college football throughout his career, he consistently put up elite numbers. So I think that would be incredible value if he's there. I don't think he will be. And then after that, I think it gets a little dicey. DeMarvin Leal, he kind of from Texas A&M, he could be considered an interior defensive lineman. He's just a little bit of a tweener, and he's a bit of a risk, right? Because most of his best numbers came on the edge, but you put him on the interior. He just did not hold up. He did not look natural at the position at all whatsoever, and I don't think he's going to be able to hold up there at the NFL. And at the NFL, I'm kind of concerned if he can hold up on the edge just at his size. He'd get away with it in college, even in the SEC, but NFL is a different ball game. Right? These guys are bigger, faster, stronger, and you got to be that. And we just haven't really seen that, and he has at his weight, really holding up on the edge. So there to go interior defensive line, I would hope it would be Travis Jones. Otherwise, I would think it would probably end up being a reach.
When you think about, those are our three big positions of need, but if we go into day three, some other things this team could be looking at: safety, tight end. Any names kind of jump out to you at those positions later on in this draft?
Oh yeah, I think too, and I should have mentioned this at the top. I think safety is actually a pretty deep position group, and I think a lot of the guys that I would take them on day two are going to slip to the end of day two, maybe early day three. A couple of names that really stand out. I think I'm a little bit higher than most on Kirby Joseph from Illinois. He was actually our highest graded safety this past year in college football. He's a true playmaker at the position. He also blew. He has, I think, the traits, right? He has the length, he has the ball skills, he has the cover skills overall. We did see him kind of impress in one-on-ones too. So, he has the traits. I think he's a good player that's going to be underrated there. Nick Cross from Maryland. He's one that he did a good job at the NFL Combine. This past year, he kind of slipped up a little bit, playing closer to the line of scrimmage. I think he could be a versatile guy, but I think he's meant to be deep. But at the end of the day, I think if you get him, and he may go late day two or early day three, I think that would be really good value for him. And with tight end, I think with this class, it's interesting to see where the NFL is, because it's kind of like wide receiver. Everything that I've heard is that every team is very, very different on who they think the best tight end in this class is, and it just depends on what you value. With Trey McBride, he's kind of the all-around guy, but some teams kind of, doubt that he can replicate what he did at Colorado State in the NFL. That's going to be a pretty big jump, and they just worry if, that jump in, that physicality, really jump that he's going to get, that may be too much for him. Or of course you might have, I really like Isaiah Likely, but he's not an inline blocker. He's kind of in that tweener. He's a move tight end, but he's a really good receiver, a gifted route runner. And you have Greg Dulcich from UCLA. He's got speed, and he can challenge the seams. He's a tough dude, big dude. And then you get some of those raw guys like Jeremy Rucker from Ohio State. He's really not much of a receiver. So, this is a really deep class for safety and tight end. So, if you're looking later in the draft, I think you're going to get some pretty good value at those two positions.
And then the one position that the Browns have been trying to address in a satisfactory manner and have used a lot of draft picks in the past is kicker, trying to get the next Phil Dawson. Anybody in this draft that you would use a pick on in day three for a kicker?
Ooh, I don't know if I would use a draft pick on him. I will say, this guy's a punter, but I have seen him up close and in person. Ryan Stonehouse from Colorado State. I would spend it. That was probably the only kicker punter I'd spend a draft pick on.
Okay.
And obviously 7th round. But that guy's got an absolute cannon for a leg. I think that guy's going to be a starting punter for a long time in the NFL. But I would say that's probably the only specialist I'd even consider, taking a draft pick on.
All right.
Great stuff, Anthony, as always, man. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, guys.
Anthony Tresh, Pro Football Focus, college football analyst. You can follow him at PFF_Anthony on that. Get you a Masters update, and also plenty of time still to get your questions in at Browns_daily. Use the hashtag AskCBD. We'll answer anything you'd like. Coming up in about 15 minutes, you listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. And the Bath Authority can give you the bathroom of your dreams. They can do it for you in about a day. You can transform your current bathroom into a custom bath that'll feel like a spa. Let them take care of it for you. Make it a reality for you at a fraction of the cost of the competitors. The Bath Authority is Cleveland's premier bath and shower remodeler, expert factory-trained installers. Give them a call now at 216-220-8399. It's the largest selection of bath projects, all made in the United States. Change your bathroom from outdated to outstanding. Acrylic tubs that insulate and keep the heat in. Tub-to-shower conversions as well. Superior products, expert installers. Call now for $500 off your next custom bath or shower remodel. That number is 216-220-8399, or go to thebathauthority.com. It's where affordability meets quality on that side of things. What's going on at Augusta?
Is this for me, or is Gibbe going to check in with an?
No, you've been watching. Give me an update.
I didn't know if he wanted to come in with some crazy information. So right now we're at Sung Jae Im in first place, 3 under par through 3. Danny Willett, 2 under through 13. Cameron Smith, down under, 2 under. Joaquin Neiman, 2 under. Scotty Scheffler, the number 1 player in the world, also at 2 under par right now.
Scoring happening now here.
Some scoring. Schwartzel also 2 under. Charles. And then at 1 under, that you have a group. So 6 people. Im at 3 under, 5 at 2 under. Then you got a group at 1 under that goes. There's about 14 people there. Some notables at the 1 under. Daniel Berger is at 1 under. Corey Connors 1 under. Lee Westwood 1 under. Webb Simpson 1 under. Billy Horschel 1 under. Abraham Answer 1 under as well. Defending champion Hideki Matsuyama even through 10, as is Tiger Woods even through 10 as well.
Hudson's Jason Kokrak 2 under.
Kokrak
shot off.
Did he get to 2? Did he just get
to
2? Okay, all
2
right,
now.
beautiful.
He birdied 14. He's at
Birdied
2 under.
14.
He's a shot back.
There he is. That's right. You play with him on the reg.
I don't play with him. I see him
You
around.
You see him.
I see him on the reg. He hangs out with Greeny.
Impressive.
So I know that. But other than that, he's around.
Yeah. Does he live in? I think he's from Akron.
I think his wife's from the area, and I think he's more east, like Youngstown-ish area.
Okay.
But yeah, settled in our little village.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And you know what's next? Prostitution. That's what's next.
Hudson, scary place.
Dicey.
Dicey.
It's dicey out there.
Have
yeah.
you
So this is
moving.
Huh?
Have you considered moving?
Bigger fences.
They're running models out of your neighborhood.
Just bigger fences is all I'm going to do. Just build up the fences
going
higher.
on in there.
It's dicey.
Did you see this?
Did you see this? Go ahead. You go first. Then I got one for you. Go ahead.
So I tweeted about this yesterday. Travel and Leisure says your thermostat should be set to 82 degrees every night, according to a new report.
Okay.
Before
we get to that,
my response is this is madness.
Yeah, go to hell would be mine.
Yep.
Did you see the sports guy is down at Augusta,
of course,
and he has the Augusta National jacket. So the green,
of course,
which didn't even know existed.
Yep.
Until the official teaching pro told us that it did. I had no idea that they had a secondary logo.
Yep.
Had no clue that they did. All right, on the 82 degrees, that's certifiable. That is insanity.
I like it cold at night. I like
course.
to be
The
colder the better.
Of course.
Like it can't be too cold. You can always have more.
I don't even know what it would be. Like what would be a number that I'd be like, well, this is aggressive. I mean, it would be
50?
in the low 60s. Like I could do 62 easy.
All day long. Let's just cuddle. Let's get a little down comforter.
Down comforter, layers, heavy blankets.
We're fine.
That's it.
We're
You're
safe. We're making a cocoon. A cocoon of warmth.
Yes, you can't do anything with heat.
No.
82?
Gross. Right. Once you get all the layers off, what are you going to do? You can't take your skin off.
I mean, in Ohio, for 10 months out of the year, you'd have to heat it to 82.
Significantly so.
Right. It would be. What would be our number? I wonder for home and leisure, travel, leisure, home, whatever you said. Like, would our number be like if you didn't run it, like would it be 60? It'd be in the 60s, I bet.
Like all year round.
All year round, it would be in this. Like the average would be in the 60s
sure.
because you're going to run it in the summer.
You'd have some real hard times though in the winter if you weren't doing anything.
Yeah, I mean it would be a
30.
lot of layers.
By the way, big par putt for Tiger at 11. 11 playing 530 yards.
Is there a number for him to make you feel good that he would make the cut? Is it even? If he's even?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
anything more than even, it starts to get a little tricky because you do feel like fatigue is going to happen for him.
He's gonna,
and you wonder if the leg's going to hold up.
He's gonna birdie 13, so you might as well just call him 1 under right now. He's in a great spot.
But I don't think there's anything coming home. Right, no one's coming home.
He's doing just fine. He had a bogey at 8, which was not good. He made a 6 at the par 5, which he should not be making 6s at par 5s.
No.
Getting quite an ovation though from the faithful right now.
If you won a green jacket, if you won the Masters, would you wear it at all occasions for always? How often would you wear it?
I would liken it to what I do with my trophy husband T-shirt that was given to me by my lovely wife.
Do you know I looked so hard for the Bushcrack T-shirt? They don't make them.
Why not?
So I went all into this, and I was willing to take a cab ride in the Bahamas. Any cab ride, you could go up 400 feet. $70. Like there's nothing. There's nothing that's just it.
Yeah.
It's all cash. Yeah, man. And then away we go. So I looked deep into this, and there was one distributor on the island that distributed basically all of the beer. So I think, and this guy's got to have a great life. Like he's distributing all the beer in the island. He's got to be living down there on Paradise Island, somewhere down on the beach. He's at the Ocean Club living his best life.
Yeah,
so
he's got one of those condos.
So I'm looking, and I go. I see that. Boy, I feel like you ought to sling a lot of these T-shirts out. And I sent you the picture of it. I think I put it on something. And I think, boy, I feel like you're gonna sell a lot of these.
A ton.
So I was looking into it. It's got a great rooster logo. Like, it's just so cool. Like it's great.
And this is a Bahamian beer.
It's a Bahamian beer with a higher alcohol content. And so I looked into it. They didn't have a store. So like a store where you could buy it.
Huge miss.
Which was a big miss, I
Huge
felt.
miss.
And then I even thought, you know what? I'll just buy it online somewhere. No. Didn't exist.
They need a marketing guy.
Yeah, they do.
They
That's
need a
what I think, too.
marketing guy.
My guess is that guy's doing so well, he didn't even care. He's not worried about the money he's leaving on the table.
Do it for the people, though.
He's swimming in it.
For the people.
Yeah, that's where that goes. I would wear it a lot.
Yeah.
A Cam Smith to 3 under.
A lot of people like great hair. Down under. Kangaroo.
I think I have him in our thing.
He would be your international guy.
He'd be my international guy. I'm pretty sure. I think that's who
But you
I
had
have.
Johnny Rahm, I thought.
No, I didn't. Oh, I have Cam Davis.
Yeah, you have Johnny Rahm. That's your first year.
Oh, Cam Davis is 2 under.
There you go.
Yeah, he's
killing it then.
2 under, yeah.
Hope.
Yeah, I have Rahm, Morikawa, Reed, and Davis. Reed's my former champion. And who are yours? You have Koepka, Rahm, Spieth,
and Tom Hoagie.
Who do you have, Gibby? Do you remember? Have you been able to select your team yet?
I took a little wild card. Seamus Power.
I like anybody named Seamus.
Yeah.
Patrick Reed, Justin Thomas, John Rahm.
All right. So we all got Rahm. So it's really going to come down to, it'll be the other 3 that determine, who the winner of this thing is. And you won last year, didn't you, Gibby?
I believe I did.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
Yeah, because Zegura tried to.
He tried to cheat.
Substitute.
Yeah. It asked me to substitute, and I said, "Okay."
Why wouldn't I?
You've asked me to
take full advantage of
it. The
it.
Masters personally reached out to me on the app and said, "You need to make a change because one of your players didn't make cuts." So I said, "Okay,
all right,
I will make a change.
I'll make a change,
and
watch
I made
me win this thing.
A furious comeback and did win it because I was able to pick a guy who was real hot. Turns out he was in the lead.
Turns out he was. All right, we'll do Ask CBD coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. Boy, he crushed it. 850 ESPN Cleveland. Your business is shopping for an enterprise operating system partner, but you don't know where to begin. Well, I can help you. Beau Bishop here for my friends at EOX Vantage. They're data scientists. They are also business operations experts. Your EOX Vantage team not only going to build and install your system, they act as your ongoing tech support. So you're hiring a continuous improvement and support system. EOX Vantage not tied to any single brand or hardware or software, so you're going to get a truly customized, purpose-built solution along with a partner that will answer only to you. And EOX Vantage does not outsource. All the operational expertise, proprietary solutions, and tech support come from one unified partner. You see how companies have profited from hiring one fully objective operating systems partner at EOXVantage.com. Time for a little Ask CBD. Hello, Gibby.
Hello. You can tweet your questions to @Browns_daily. Use the hashtag AskCBD.
What sweet sounds. What a great cadence.
It really does.
Jersey Dog tweets at the show. What are the chances that Larry Ogunjobi will come back to bolster our D-line? Love the guy. We'll continue to root for him no matter where he goes.
Well, he had a deal in Chicago, right? But then it was voided by the physical.
Yeah, like 3 years, $40 million.
Big money,
Yeah, which makes me very sad for him.
Sucks.
So, look, I think the Browns know that they need to improve their defensive line. So if it makes sense, that it certainly is something that could happen. I feel like Larry Ogunjobi, based on the way that he performed and what Chicago offered, feels like he's at a price point that would be not necessarily conducive to coming back to the Browns, but we'll see what happens now. I feel awful for him. I love Larry Ogunjobi.
He's one of the great dudes.
Great dude.
He was a great friend of the program.
Yeah.
He was on this show a lot and was one of those guys that you saw him out at training camp or anywhere. He was just awesome. Great
I talked
dude.
to him after our game in Cincinnati. He was already hurt for our game here, and just a great guy. Great guy.
Up next at Browns_daily using the hashtag
Gibby, don't you think you're in
AskCBD.
need of traveling music?
I just shot him a message.
How about that?
I mean, he
Danny
is a-
nailed it right as I asked.
Traveling music.
Feel like you need traveling music.
Yeah.
For
And
a
he was
proper
on it.
mailbag.
Yeah. He was like, music here? I said, absolutely.
That's right. Little traveling music. Good job, Danny.
Even though Rudy still sucks.
What we need anytime,
Relax.
anytime Danny's on the show, anytime Danny's part of the show, we need all of the Judge Smales Danny's.
Danny.
Danny.
Do you
We
believe
need
in
all of
goodness?
those.
Fresca Danny.
Or
We need
badness.
all of those ready at the ready. Those need to be there.
Love it.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't mind Rudy the movie. I know you two despise it.
It's
don't have
not
an
that I despise it. I just think it's for all of the people act like it's like in the vicinity of Hoosiers. No, in fact it sucks.
It's the Mateen Cleaves.
It's Matisse bias. That the next level's next. We should have left.
We should have.
That should have been it.
Nope. We're all in this together, kids.
Like, if there's somebody out there that likes Rudy and Mateen Cleaves,
I don't
just
wanna know
know
him.
that we're on different pages.
We aren't
We're
gonna
from
break
different-
bread.
No,
I'll
we're
tell
not
you
breaking- There will no transformative turkey will ever
No,
be enjoyed.
zero chance.
By all of us.
Adam Segui, hashtag AskCBD. What would your ideal scenario for the Browns be in the draft when we get to the second round? Wide
These are
receiver
very serious
or
questions so
defensive
far.
lineman? We'll get to the fun. Pace yourself.
Christian Watson or a great defensive end.
Yes, same.
Doesn't matter to me. I don't
Or if
care.
they love Sky Moore, they love Pickens from
Pick
Georgia.
one.
If they love
Yeah,
one of the
doesn't matter.
receivers or a defensive end, that's what I want.
Yeah, the kid that I'm blanking on it. The one that PFF had us. The kid from Oklahoma. I'm blanking
Nick
on his name.
Bonito.
Bonito. He's a really good player. Like, that'd be great. I'd be thrilled about Nick Bonito. He's someone who could come in, play right away. I think could groom into something special. I'm for that. I'm totally for that. I'm for one of the receivers dropping, for trading up. I would just tell you this. The last 2 second-round picks are Grant and JOK.
That's right.
Yeah, we've
Pretty good
been
track
all right.
record. Pretty good
Not
track record.
too shabby.
Yeah.
Browns always 216. Is there a free safety in free agency you could see the Browns adding before July?
No, I could see us bringing back maybe Ronnie Harrison if he doesn't get any interest around the league as somebody to come back and keep that safety room intact, who can play more strong but do some strong free. I think that this year you're going to see Delpit and John moving around, and I thought our defense improved when John got to get close to the line of scrimmage as Grant began to play more on the back end, and I think that's something we'll continue to see more of.
Yeah, I think you saw towards the end of the year why you like John Johnson so much.
Love it.
He's playing a little bit out of position,
out
of his comfort zone to start the season.
Logan at King Stefanski. Could you see the Browns trading if a receiver they like starts to fall to them or towards them?
Absolutely. This is a team that always is willing to make moves up or down to get the players they want, accumulate assets if it's a move down, and still get the player they want. In the case of Grant Delpit, that netted you Nick Harris, who's likely to be your starting center. Or I could see them move up as they did to get Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah 1 year ago.
I saw both Jake and Jeremy Fowler had us with DK Metcalf.
Jeremy Fowler as well?
Yeah, today.
That was in the trade
Possible
where Baker and
spots.
A second for DK Metcalf, which I believe.
I don't know that was the same one. I didn't read
That's what
Fowler's.
Jake said.
That's what Jake said.
I believe I said something similar to that immediately a long time ago, right when this all was going down. Oh, Miss K, enjoy.
There she
Very
is.
cute. Yes.
Miss K America.
At Browns_daily.
Not wrong.
Using the hashtag AskCBD. Taking your questions here on the Twitter mailbag.
What are you laughing at, Gibby?
Oh, just your hat covering up your lack of hair. Ryan Black tweets at the show, is anyone on the BPA squad being held accountable for attempted electrocution of Nathan Zegura yesterday?
That is a great question.
Top men are looking into it.
Yes,
Sure
as they should.
are.
I think he's trying to come.
I think that's real high
Coming
on
at
the
my hair
priority
again.
list.
Do you know what I would say? One thing is, if you remember the COVID training camp, when Frayne kept an eye out at all time on Gibby,
Yeah.
that's back where we're at. He's back on watch mode. I was talking to Jay downstairs.
Yeah.
They're aware of all of it.
Nothing gets by
You
those
don't
guys.
come at the franchise.
Well,
That's all I'll say.
all I know is
Best not miss.
there's been background checks, and somehow some past transgressions still aren't on that list. Maybe that background check.
They are now. You just admitted to
Why
it.
don't they talk to people at the border?
It's all legend.
Oh, my God.
Talk to people at the border.
By the way,
You're all
John
being
Frank's
looked
birthday
into.
this week. Happy birthday to Mr. Frank.
Yes, happy birthday, Mr. Frayne. Indeed.
Tim Steele tweets at the show, what is everyone's go-to pizza topping? Are you a pizza slice dipper, meaning you need a
No.
sauce to dip
No.
your slice into?
That's
I
extravagant
had
and indulgent.
That's outrageous. You're saying if I was to go to any pizza place in the world, what pizza would I order to measure that pizza place against
Let's say
everywhere
it at
else?
the same time.
Okay.
Pepperoni mushroom.
That's right. That's right.
That's it.
That
That's
is
it.
the only answer.
That's the only answer. Like, if that is my go-to, that is one that I judge all off of.
And let me tell you this right now. You throw canned mushrooms on there, I'm out. I'm not even going to eat
Don't
it.
even
I
get
won't
into
even,
that world.
I won't even
Don't
taste
dig-
your pizza.
Yeah, nope.
No
Nope.
thanks.
Can you know the difference?
Yes.
Do you know the difference?
What am I hard to know the
Do
difference?
do you have ice?
Well, you're putting it in a bake. You're putting it in an oven. Like, do you know in advance when
No,
you walk
there's a
into a place?
lubricant to a canned mushroom that is not there in a slice.
And it's the color. The
Are you
color.
asking
Yeah.
when you
Order. I'm assuming that they don't, and if they do, that's it. Never coming back.
Yeah, that's the end of the road.
And I might even go so far as to pick the mushrooms off personally, go home, little oil, little garlic, little salt and pepper, maybe a little rosemary, get some mushrooms going. Always have to have mushrooms around. Get them going. Boom. I'll put those on the pizza, rebake it to get it so they melt into the cheese. Then I'll eat it.
I don't have a problem with any of that. I don't have a problem with any of that. What's yours, Gibby? What's your go-to to test pizza?
I am a simple pepperoni guy.
No mushroom.
No.
Look, and I think I think that's fine too. Like, because to Z's point, there's a wide range of what you can receive on a mushroom. So, while that's what I prefer,
Same with the pepperoni. Wide range.
you're not wrong on that. You get the curly guys who pop up, or
Yeah.
you get the big, so it just depends.
Yeah.
I like the curly guys.
I
those
like
little
that.
Because
crisp.
you got a little crisp on the end, soft in the
I
middle.
do like on occasion a nice white pizza.
I don't know. I can't do that.
Mm-mm.
A creme?
Down the street, Suds. Good
So
place.
what's on your white pizza?
It's like a 5 cheese.
And then there's
and
no
it's an
pizza
Alfredo?
sauce.
There's no pizza sauce.
No, it just should
No
just be
Alfredo
olive
sauce.
oil and
Yeah.
like oregano,
Oh. And then are you putting like,
Red-
what are you
red-
putting on that?
red-
Like
garlic, a lot of
artichokes?
garlic, tons
red
of garlic,
pepper chili flakes.
tons of garlic.
And tons of garlic?
Garlic.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I enjoy it.
No, I'm a pepperoni mushroom. Unfortunately, and I think it's important that you and your spouse share that. And Miss K and I do.
We do not.
No, what's her pizza?
She's a banana pepper, mushroom, and onion.
I don't mind a banana pepper.
Banana
Which is
pepper.
fine. It's just it's not where I go. I don't have pizza enough to where when I have pizza, there's a specific
Same.
thing I want. I just don't eat it enough.
Agreed. If your banana pepper to me has to be accompanied by sausage.
Yeah.
Like they must go together. It's a package deal. It's like peanut butter and jelly.
By the way, I don't mind a little dip either. A little ranch for the
God
crust.
almighty, Kimmy.
Don't mind it. Even a little honey. My one kid, a little honey.
They will throw you out of Italy. A little honey, a little hot honey is something that they would not totally frown on. But if you take a slice
I'm
of
not saying
pizza
all the time, but
in
periodically
Italy
I'm like,
and try to
yeah,
dip
there's
it
a
into
little
ranch
there. I'm
dressing,
in.
they will throw you out of the country.
Well, they're
And
gonna throw
rightfully
me out
so.
for far worse when I go there, I'm sure.
Jeez.
I've never met anybody who wants to alert the authorities to their presence more than Give.
I like a challenge. I hope that they like a challenge.
He's a lot like he's a lot like Wile E. Coyote. Like the
yeah.
Roadrunner's well aware of what's coming.
Yeah.
You're the Wile E. Coyote of crime.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come up scot clean. Ryan DX. Who is more important to their sport? Tiger Woods to golf or Tony Hawk to skateboarding?
Tiger.
It's Tiger just because of the heights it's been lifted to.
Tony Hawk was as big a deal as you can be
Yeah. And
for when we were kids.
and he's not as big. He was never as big as Tiger. I mean,
No.
But Tony Hawk's awesome. I mean,
It's
without
fantastic. It's not diminishing him in any way, shape, or form.
I mean,
It's
is
just-
he responsible for the Olympic sports you see now?
I
The
think
X
he's
Games
like
stuff?
in the same way as. I think he's kind of in the same way. Who's the surfer? Kelly Slater or whatever?
Yeah.
That guy? I kind of think those guys are kind of the same.
I couldn't name another skater.
Nor could I name
And
another surfer.
I could name Tony Hawk all day long.
Slater and Hawk.
Yeah.
That's it.
Tony Hawk's a legend.
He is a legend. He's an absolute legend.
He's a
There's
legend.
an HBO doc
He's
about him.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Across
really
the
good
board.
dude too.
Love
go
the
to
Jackass guys. Hangs out with the Jackass guys.
We'll go
Good
to
dude.
the
Good dude.
CBD.
What's your Tony
Give me your
Hawk
Tony
story?
Hawk story. Give it.
Yeah. When do you hang out with Tony Hawk?
I have not.
Oh.
We've
Not yet.
some previous programs have had him on,
Mm.
and I was one of the people responsible for helping a book.
Gotcha.
Very nice guy.
Feels like he is, yeah.
All right. Can we get into some Meckling?
No, not yet.
Run out of time on
I want to get look. He submitted 20 of them.
I know. Just run
They're
through
all
them.
gold.
They're all good. Run right through them.
John tweets at the show. He needs a little CBD travel advice.
Oh.
Girlfriend and I going to New Orleans next week for the first time. From
Uh-huh.
a food drink standpoint, key tips, suggestions. I feel like this is an important one.
This is
That's
an
a good
important
question.
one.
You can't look. You're gonna stay in the quarter or around Canal
walk it,
Street.
yes.
Don't stay on Bourbon Street.
No.
Stay off. There's a bunch of great hotels. There's great restaurants in the Warehouse District. Koshan is down there, which is phenomenal. The original Emeralds is down there, which is phenomenal. Any of the Dickie Bennett places are phenomenal for breakfast, for dinner.
There's and then
Commander's Palace is fantastic.
off of Jackson Square is the famous beignet place.
Cafe Du Monde is up
Yep.
at Jackson Square.
And then right up the street from that, on the same side of the square, is supposedly the best Bloody Mary in New Orleans.
That's at Dickie Bennett's joint.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Those would be. It's the best. It's my favorite food city in America. I just love it.
Anywhere you go, honestly, the food is pretty good.
Yeah.
I haven't ever gone there. One time I went to Koshan when I was there for the Super Bowl, but I haven't done much fine dining because I've been there for a couple of WrestleManias,
Yeah.
and it's usually like we're on Bourbon Street all day, and then it's okay. Let's find some tacos or let's find
Right.
some
Right.
a great bouillabaisse or a jambalaya for you.
So the original Emeralds is unbelievable. The banana cream pie is stunning.
A crawfish étouffée.
It is. The barbecue shrimp is amazing there. The app is legendary. The ones I mentioned, Commander's Palace is probably the most of the places I've at. But that's more like Garden District. It's right across the street from a huge cemetery. But that's probably the most like old school New Orleans type joint I've been to.
There was a place where I got like an app that I want to say was like a pork belly that was served inside of a tobacco box, like a cigar box, and so it had like some smoke,
Feels like that'd
and
be
it
a win.
was unreal.
Yeah, I will tell you this: if you're ever at a place and they say, here's a drink in a big plastic something or other, say nope. No thanks.
Unless you like hangovers.
Yeah. If you want to be hungover for the next 48 hours of your trip, then
Lot of
drink
sugar.
all the hurricanes and hand grenades you want.
A lot of sugar.
Stay away from that stuff, man.
A lot of
Stay
sugar.
away from that stuff.
Or run exactly to it and follow
Oh,
it up with a shot of Jameson.
No, you won't walk. You won't even. The worst hangover I've ever had in my life, and I have a steadfast rule on artificial colors and mixers. I don't do it. And somebody talked me into a hand grenade when I was covering one of the sugar bowls or something, and I had the worst hangover I've ever had in my life the next day, and I didn't even get bombed.
Yeah.
That's poison.
Poison. What's the famous place for the Hurricanes?
Pat O'Brien's.
Pat O'Brien's. Yeah.
They do have a. I'm blanking on what's the great. I'll think of it.
All right, rapid fire time with our guy, Bobby Meschling.
I'm pretty sure it's Mecklen.
We're going to call him Meckling. That's our guy.
Is Harry Potter just Star Wars with wands?
No.
Agreed, and don't besmirch Star Wars ever again, Bobby, or I'll block you.
We won't block you, Bobby.
You're fine, Bobby. Don't worry about him.
I won't block you. I'll just threaten.
Sazerac. That's the cocktail.
Oh, yeah,
the New
yeah.
Orleans bourbon cocktail. Yeah.
Sure is.
If Jurassic Park was real, would you go?
Yes.
Absolutely, and be terrified the entire time. But absolutely.
Of course I would go.
Maybe you
I'd
can climb
love
a
to
fence
see
and get a zap like
it.
yesterday.
Love to.
Do
So
you
many
like
shots.
things to be carefully planned?
He's like if Lee Harvey Oswald was like, I did it.
Yeah.
Look, I did it.
I did it.
Come
It
get
was
me.
me.
I electrocuted him.
It was
didn't
me
do
with the
anything.
sign, and then Jack Ruby.
Do
Right.
you like things to be carefully planned, or do you prefer to just go with the flow?
Yes.
Both. Same.
Same.
It depends on what you're doing.
Some things I like planned. Some things are wonderful, spontaneous.
What is your secret talent? Keep it clean.
Nothing I can share on the radio.
I can make up lyrics on the fly to songs.
You can. You can.
And I can imitate the Macho Man.
Yeah. Both of which we've witnessed.
Yeah.
I think your off the cuff mach is an all-time talent.
Thank you.
Like of any, you did one for Bootsy once that was just phenomenal off the cuff. It was fantastic.
What did you Google last?
Nothing I can share on the radio.
Next. What artist or band do you always recommend when someone asks for a music recommendation?
Boy, that's an interesting one.
I would go. I'd ask like, what are you looking for?
What are you into here, man?
And so
I do think music is timeless now. I've said this
Yeah.
before. Like to my kids, there's no difference. My oldest, Peyton, when we were on vacation, discovered Rick rolling. So like he would all of a sudden like wake us up with his iPad with the that Rick roll song. Like, and now he's like humming it as if it came out last week.
So I have three that I would recommend people that are kind of like under the radar, but some people have heard about him, and people that have heard about him typically love them. One would be Vance Joy, big Vance Joy guy. Two would be Rufus de Soul, kind of just like a vibey, like good, some beats. And then LP, I think, has a phenomenal voice. And believe it or not, LP is responsible for a lot of songs that you actually do know. She either wrote them or helped produce them, kind of like Babyface back in the day.
I like that. I found that I'm consistently put in a good mood the last week when I hear John Baptiste do stuff.
You really love that.
I like
John
that guy.
Baptiste.
He's really excited about things. I like guys like that.
30 seconds. When was the last time you got to tell someone I told you so?
This morning, and every morning to my wife.
every day on the show.
Brown Therapy wants to know Rebecca or Diane for Cheers, Sam. Rebecca. Diane sucked.
Which one's Kirstie Alley?
That one.
There you go.
Rebecca.
Yeah, definitely.
No
doubt.
Diane sucked.
Terrible.
Always trying to keep a good man down. Always was. Still so much more to come. You listen to Cleveland. It feels like a Friday. Honest to God, it feels like do we have to show up tomorrow?
Yes.
Sucks. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, Ohio Business Machine, preferred copier provider, your Cleveland Browns, and all the X's and O's for your office. 216-485-2000, ohiobusinessmachines.com. See, to my kids, this came out last week.
Rudy is the Mateen
10
Cleaves of
seconds.
films.
The next level's next. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.